Good morning, Facebook. I hope you have a nice warm cup of coffee today. Facebook and the UB-tubes and all the patriots around the planet, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Here in the Midwest, it's freaking cold out. It's colder than a cast iron commode on the shady side of an iceberg. I mean, it's cold. Not supposed to be this cold. Got down below zero. I don't know, 10 degrees below zero. They're saying it's supposed to get up to 12 degrees today. That's better than the last couple days, which was like 1. Ridiculous. I'm looking forward to the end of the week when it's supposed to be in the high 20s. Be like a balmy heat wave. Oh, it's nuts what's going on around here. Somebody's sending me a text message. What's this? Oh, Lord have mercy. We'll see what's going on. So how's your life? I hope you're doing wonderful. This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live. It's February 16th, 2021. Looks like the year of the big chill. It's approximately 8:32 a.m. on Tuesday. Yesterday was President's Day. Yesterday I didn't go live because I spent all night trying to defrost my drain pipes so I could flush a toilet, take a shower or something. And then my water pipes froze. And I never got the drain pipes defrosted. So yesterday afternoon, and you can tell I hadn't even trimmed my beard, we stayed in a hotel. And we're probably going to stay in a hotel next couple days till we get things warmed up enough we could get things flowing again. Because, if it was just me, I'd tough it out. I mean, I got some foodstuffs. If the power went out, got a little heater and a little camp stove, we get by. But it ain't just me. I got kids at home too, and you got to think about them. So we went and got a hotel room, and I took yesterday off and went to sleep because I was up all night with a turbo heater under the house trying to warm everything up. I didn't want to leave it unattended. It's probably not safe to do that when you're burning propane like that. So, but it didn't work out. Too damn cold. Too cold. And I know that people around the country are suffering also from all the way down to Galveston, Texas, all the way up north where it's really cold. I mean, like minus 50. That's cold. Whew. So I know it's not just me. It's everybody. Everybody's suffering, except for you folks down there in South Florida, down there at the Trump rally they had yesterday in their shorts and T-shirts. I hate you. Out there showing their patriotism towards Trump. And I guess he was coming in and out of Mar-a-Lago, and they had a big rally yesterday for President's Day. That was kind of cool, but they're in shorts and T-shirts, my friends. Us in the Midwest, everywhere in the rest of the United States is freezing our bums off. South Florida, looking better every day. It wasn't for sharks on one side and alligators on the other. Anyway, so what's going on in the world today? What's happening? Well, make sure you got some coffee. You're going to need it. That's right. Whew. So what's happening? Here we go. This says down here at the bottom, it says, snowy but mostly warm weather in Texas highlights the effects of global warming, says CNN. And this is by Salty Cracker. And he says, how them windmills working for you, energy collects. I think he means another word there, but, PG-13 and all. It's 75 degrees in the Bay Area, jerk. And I'm burning a tire in my backyard just to piss off Greta. I got some tires. You want them? Oh, no. That's against the EPA. We can't do that. There's no more BTUs in a tire than just about anything else. But hey, I digress. Moving on. So, down in Texas, they're having another small problem. They've got all these windmills to produce their electricity down there. And it says nearly half of Texas's installed wind power generation capacity has been offline because of frozen wind turbines in West Texas, according to Texas grid operators. So you see this wind turbine there, all froze up, can't spin. So they're talking about rolling blackouts, even here in the Midwest, the Kansas City area. All the way through Oklahoma. There's lots of blackouts in Texas and Arkansas and Tennessee and Kentucky and those necks of the woods from the ice storm they got, where they got up to a half an inch of ice, and the power lines just don't appreciate that. They kind of come down. So some of the blackout is because, well, ice and snow and power don't mix. But some of it is because we have been doing stupid things policy-wise when it comes to energy in this country. Like canceling the Keystone Pipeline and building a pipeline for the Taliban. We can have pipelines over there, safe. Pipelines over here, not safe. And it probably doesn't help that Warren Buffett owns all the other means of transportation, oil from that neck of the woods. Yeah, but I digress. We'll move on from that. So it says, a helicopter running fossil fuels spraying chemicals made from fossil fuels onto a wind turbine made from fossil fuels during an ice storm is awesome. There you have it, folks. If it weren't for fossil fuels, there wouldn't be wind turbines or solar panels, which aren't working very well right now when the clouds are out and the ice is covering everything and it's 2 degrees outside. So energy bills are spiking. They're having rolling blackouts because, communism. But really, a lot of people were asking me yesterday, so what's with the blackouts? It's real simple. It's not a conspiracy per se. It's that for the last my entire adult lifetime, we haven't built any capacity to produce energy. No nuclear power plants, which is one of the safest, greenest ways to create energy. Oh, but Mike, Chernobyl. Yeah, but we're not communists. See, we do things the right way. We've got ships. The Navy has ships, submarines, aircraft carriers, etc., that are nuclear powered, and they no problem at all. They just do their thing. Nuclear power generation is one of the safest there is, but we can't do that because 3 Mile Island, because some Hollywood actress testified as a specialist before some House committee 30 years ago and said, it's bad, our children are going to have a third eye. But also, we haven't built any coal-fired plants. We haven't built really any natural gas-fired plants. A few, they've upgraded some, but we haven't increased our capacity at all. Why? Government regulation, red tape, that kind of stuff. So we haven't been able to increase our ability to create energy, but we've increased the demand. And then they want to switch us all over to electric. GM's announcing that all their cars are going to be electric. Ford's doing the same thing. Dodge ain't. Dodge is slamming a Hellcat motor into a minivan, but hey, that's cool. I might go buy one. Be fun. But so everything's supposed to be electric, but we're not expanding the capacity to create electricity. Oh, yes, we are. We're going to switch everything over to solar and wind power. How's that working for you right now? I'll believe in solar and wind power when they put solar panels and wind turbines on Air Force One. Because that plane ain't going to get off the ground. Ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There's nothing more efficient than petroleum products in creating heat. That's just the way it is right now. Natural gas is one of the cheapest ways to do it. Again, nuclear, although expensive to set up, nuclear is really one of the most cleanest ways of producing energy there is right now. Other than storage of the nuclear waste, which really isn't that much because those rods last a long time. But, I'm no nuclear physicist. Somebody could correct me on that. But we can't produce that stuff. We can't create that stuff. We can't make that stuff anymore because of red tape and regulations and government. Because Greta Thunberg says that, how dare you? How dare you? The world's not warming up. I hate to tell you, they had to change the name from global warming to global climate change because, all the sciencey stuff behind it wasn't working out. So you got to believe in science because science is facts. Science is true. Science is right. You got to believe me. Why? Take faith in what I say because I'm a scientist. Well, if I'm taking faith, isn't that not science? That's more like a religion. You see, what they failed to account for in their theories on global warming, or maybe they did. That's why it was always 100 years out. Al Gore, in 100 years, we're going to raise the temperature 1 degree. If you send me $30 trillion, I can prevent that from happening. Maybe it's always 100 years after we're all dead. so no one will care. Maybe they did know what was going on, and they were just lying to us. But see, what I heard one time is that I may be wrong, I'm no scientist, but that there's this big ball of fire in the sky. I know this sounds crazy, but there's this big ball of fire in the sky, and it burns like a bazillion nuclear fusion reactors going off at the same time. It creates this heat that warms all the planets in the solar system. The ones that are closer to it get warmer than the ones that are further away. Say, Mercury is really hot and Pluto is really cold. You know, kind of the way it works. But somewhere in the middle is us. And as that big ball of fire in the sky, I know it's unbelievable, but there is a big ball of fire in the sky. And it goes through these cycles of 30 or 40 years where it gets what they call it solar maximums and solar minimums. And it gets warmer in the solar maximum. And when the big ball of fire in the sky gets warmer, the planet gets warmer. It's like someone turned the thermostat up. And when the big ball of fire in the sky gets colder, the planet gets colder. It's amazing. I know, that's ridiculous. The scientists say that it's caused by greenhouse gases. And greenhouse gas is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. I believe one of those plants breathe and then create oxygen. So the more of it you have, the more oxygen you have. The more oxygen you have is a good thing. But I know. So there's this big ball of fire in the sky. And about, 2010-ish, it came out of the last 30 or 40 years solar maximum and started going into the solar minimum. And now all of a sudden it's cold. That can't be related. It's global climate change. And what we need to do is we need to give the world organizations in Davos a whole bunch of money, because that way they can solve it. They can fix it. You know, Bill Gates wants to put this big solar shield thing in space to shield the planet from the rays of the sun, because that will work out well. Let's think that one through just a little bit when you combine it with the solar maximum and the solar minimum. Kind of like solar panels and windmills freezing up in the wintertime, not producing electricity. It's amazing how that works. And just for another thought process, the price of a barrel of oil on 11/2/20 was $36.81, and it maintained that for a while. The price on 1/21/21 was $53.13. And this was yesterday. At close was about $60. There's oil right there. See that? See, silver is still hovering around 27. That's interesting. Talk about that in a minute. Here's today. It's right at $60 still. It's doubled in price. I wonder why it's doubled in price. It could be, I don't know, could be market demands. Or it could be that the current administration ceased all contracts for future fracking. Because I'm not going to ban fracking except for when I ban fracking, the president said. So now the price of barrel's going up. Who's that benefiting, by the way? At this price right here, American oil manufacturers weren't getting rich, but they were making money. But at this price right here, Russia, Saudi Arabia, OPEC was losing their shirts. By driving the price up to here, it benefits them, not us. Just imagine what's going on in this country right now. It's amazing. So here's another little shot right here. Let's talk about the silver market. Now we got manipulated markets everywhere right now. It's amazing how these same people get back in power and everything's manipulated. 7 trading days of no price change for the most part. How did that happen? This is from February 1 all the way up to February 11th. But if you look over here to the right column, you can see the difference in outstanding shares. Those are futures. Here's a little explanation of it. The Silver Exchange Traded Fund, SLV, appears to have just amended its prospects to acknowledge difficulty in sourcing material for the fund. The amendment warns that the fund may now be vulnerable to a dramatic short squeeze like the recent short squeeze in GameStop. This was as of Saturday, okay? That caused a worldwide sensation. The change, cited by Bullion Star Tonight on Twitter, seems to have been prompted by the month's Reddit-inspired movement to attack shorts on the monetary metal. SLV does not appear to have issued an announcement to its prospects, perhaps trusting that monetary metal advocates would find it eventually and save the fund from trouble. So what are they saying? It's in the neighborhood of 50 million shares difference in that column right there. That's, you see, they got to cover that. They got to cover that with silver. And they're having a little bit of trouble coming up with that silver to cover all the people trading paper. See, what happened was, and I started talking about silver. Of course, I've been buying and selling silver for a long time. So if the price goes up, I'm like good with that because I'm sitting on some. So it's okay. I've got a vested interest in the price going up. But they started dumping paper on the market to drive the price back down. The price isn't off of the tangible asset. The price is off of, that's the future market that we're looking at. When you look at that price, it's not the actual price of silver. If you go on any of these online places and you want to buy a round or a bar of silver, it's $35 to $50. See, their price trading doesn't reflect price reality. That's where they're going to get caught. That's what's going to drive this market up. It's coming. That's coming. Eventually, they're going to have to pay the piper on this. And this price is going to go up and they're going to get short squeezed. How long will they be able to save it? Will they be able to manipulate the market by regulation like they did with the GameStop stuff? I don't know. But it's interesting the way that's coming down the pike. Then there's this one. This is interesting to me. GOP ranking members demand Pelosi explain why she refuses to turn over documents on Capitol security and why she delayed National Guard response for 1 hour during the siege. Well, what's that all about? Well, they've sent a letter to Nancy Pelosi, and the Gateway Pundit's got the article, but I'm just going to read a portion of the letter. It says, "Dear Speaker Pelosi," let me pull this up a little bigger. It says, "Dear Speaker Pelosi, the American people deserve answers to a few straightforward questions regarding security on the Capitol on January 6th. When then Chief Soond made a request for National Guard support on January 4th, why was the request denied? Did Sergeant of Arms Paul Irving get permission or instruction from your staff on January 4th prior to denying Chief Soond's request?" Soond's, S-U-N-D-S, S-U-N-D, Soond, I think, whatever it is. I'm bad with names, right? Request for National Guard. What conversations and what guidance did you and your staff give the Sergeant at Arms leading up to January 6th, specific to the security posture of the campus? What conversations did you have during the attack on the Capitol and the response? And what response did you give the security officers on July 6th? When Chief Soond requested National Guard support that required your approval? Why are House officers refusing to comply with the preservation and production request to turn over request materials relevant to the events on January 6th? This is something the government does. The government cabal does constantly. When people are trying to look into what the hell's going on in our government, they deny, they delay, they obfuscate, they slow walk, That's what happened to the whole thing with Trump. When these guys tried to look into this Russian collusion conspiracy, well, show us the documents. Well, they'd slow walk it. They'd deny it. They'd shred it. They'd, use a little, like a rag, on the computer. You may not know what that's from, but if you should know where that's from. So it says 5 weeks have passed since January 6th attack on the Capitol building, and many important questions about your responsibility, Speaker Pelosi, for the security of the Capitol remains unanswered. As you are aware, the Speaker of the House is not only the leader of the majority party, but also has enormous institutional responsibility. The Speaker is responsible for all operational decisions made within the House. We have observed for 2 years that this very heavy-handed, tightly controlled approach to House operation has been exerted by yourself, your staff, and your army of appointed House officials. In the wake of the attack, there were many calls from members on both sides of the aisle to conduct a full bipartisan, bicameral review. Republicans have introduced a bill to establish a structure for this review, identify failures, ensure capitals never violently breached again. Instead of working together, you decided unilaterally to fire the Sergeant of Arms, Paul Irving, and demand the resignation of Chief of Capitol Police, Steve Sund, and appointed retired General Russell Horn, or Horner, I don't know, Honore, to lead the security review. These decisions were made in a partisan manner without any consultation of the House of Representatives, and therefore raise questions about the political motives of your decisions. And they go on a little bit longer, but they end it with this. Lastly, your hyperbolic focus on fabricated internal security concerns has taken resources away from the real threat, which is from outside the U.S. Capitol. Your decision to install magnetometers around the House chamber is yet another example of misdirection and misappropriation of House resources, which could be better used to protect members, staff, and official visitors from real confirmed threats. So what they're saying in here, they go on to talk about how the officers in charge, the Capitol Police, Mr. Sund, and the Sergeant of Arms, Mr. Irving, repeatedly asked for help. They said, please give us help. And it was repeatedly denied by Nancy Pelosi or her staff. And they want to know, basically, what did Nancy Pelosi know and when did she know it prior to the events on January 6th? And I want to know what was on that laptop that she's so upset about not having anymore. Find that interesting. I think a lot of this is going to come out sooner rather than later. And we may find out that, as we already suspect, there was some coordination with the attack on January 6th. There were some internal threats. You got to understand, Nancy Pelosi saying there's internal threats. And so you got to understand that. I'm checking something. I got a weird thing popped up here. Okay. Nancy always, the Democrats themselves, Nancy, Hillary Clinton, I mean, it's Hillary Clinton wrote the book on this, projecting themselves on their political enemies, who they are, what they've done, they accuse you of. She come right out and said there is an internal threat in the House and tried to blame it on Republicans. But I tell you what, there is, she's right, she's accurate, an internal threat in the House. And it is her and her party. And what was on that laptop? I bet you we find out sooner rather than later. What do you think? Then there's this. It says, breaking. President Biden issues a statement calling on Congress to act legislation mandating background checks on all gun sales and ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines to hold gun manufacturers liable for violence committed with firearms. So he's demanding a repeal of the Second Amendment. That's what he's demanding. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. See, there's a comma there. It says in order for security, and I'm going to misquote it here, and I apologize. I didn't pull it up or look at it before I came on live, and the dyslexic guy never gets it right. A well-regulated militia. Regulated doesn't mean rules. Old English regulated means prepared. In order to have those things, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The idea was that we could call up the American people to defend this country with their own arms. That was the idea. From enemies foreign and domestic, by the way. I wonder why the founding fathers put that in there. Foreign and domestic. It's a good question. We probably should figure that one out. So Joe Biden wants to ban weapons. You know, he's surrounding, there are 30,000-ish National Guardmen. Nancy Pelosi was calling for crew serve weapons, like M2s, 50 caliber machine guns, to be set up. Why? So you want to surround your fences, and we can't build fences around America, but we can build fences around the Capitol, around you. And then you put these National Guards around you. And then you want to disarm us. There's only one reason to disarm the American people, right? Because you're wanting to do some stuff you might get shot over. Just saying. We're kind of walking down a road, following a path that's happened repeatedly over and over and over again in this country. Interesting, isn't it? I do want to leave you with one thing. I forgot to mention when I was talking about money. Bitcoin's at 48,804 this morning. So if you got any Bitcoin, congratulations. I was going to mention that when I did the other one. I looked at that. I bought $250 worth of Bitcoin when it tanked last time. $250. I just thought, I want to understand it. I wish I'd put more in because it's turned out to be pretty well. So many of you have already seen this, but I want to go ahead and read it anyways and point out something that I saw in here. And it says, this is a statement from the office of Donald J. Trump right after he was found not guilty and acquitted in the Senate. He says, I want to thank my team of dedicated lawyers and others for their tireless work in upholding justice and defending truth. My deepest thanks as well to the United States senators, members of Congress who stood proudly for the Constitution. We all reserve, for the Constitution, we all reserve, and for the sacred legal principles. Dude just popped up. Stop popping up. Excuse me. I got to change this thing. At the heart of our country. I apologize. So it popped right up in front of my screen. Pushed the wrong button. Our cherished constitutional republic was founded on impartial rule of law and indispensable safeguards of our liberties, our rights, and our freedom. It is sad commentary on our times that one political party in America has given free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool for political vengeance. And persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress all people and viewpoints with whom they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate. This has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like it. And it continues because our opponents cannot forget the almost 75 million, I say 80 to 100, but 75 million people, the highest number ever for a sitting president, who voted for us just a few short months ago. This is the point that I wanted to make up, and I don't know why. Oh, I'm missing the part that I wanted. Ah, it didn't load. Doggone it. I can't believe it. I screwed up. Call me Brad Barton Jr. again. So I also want to convey my gratitude to the millions of decent, hardworking, law-abiding, God and country-loving citizens who have bravely supported these important principles in this very difficult and challenging times. Let me see if I can find the rest of that I wanted to point out that for some reason I didn't load it up. I done screwed the pooch. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you don't have to be smart. You just have to show up. Evidently, I didn't save that. Anyways, he went on to talk about how he was coming back. Many of you have seen this, and I apologize because I just screwed that whole thing up. And I don't have it. Darn the luck. Anyways, you've all seen it. He was talking about how he's coming back. And that we've only begun. And that America's greatest days are ahead. This thing ain't over. This thing ain't over by any stretch of the imagination. You know, we was talking about earlier, for those of you jumping on late, we was talking about the troubles they're having with the windmills and the solar panels and all of that stuff, okay? And Kim Clement talked about how when all this stuff shakes out, all this impeachment, nay, and weapons of war and all of this Snowden horizon and highly embarrassing moments for the Republicans and Democrats and Supreme Court justices stepping down. This is all in his prophecy. All in his prophecy. There's 2 impeachments. We've got that. Let's talk about all that. When all this stuff shakes out, God says he's going to bless America and that there's going to be a new form of energy that changes the world and makes America extremely wealthy. What's that new form of energy? There were some patents that just came out. Kind of got my attention. So these patents just came out, released by our government. Some of them happen to do with some pretty zany stuff. Propulsion systems of aircraft for space and dampening systems for inertia. But one of the ones that really caught my attention was a patent for a cold fusion, nuclear fusion device that will produce massive amounts of energy if it's real. And I thought they could take about a minivan size fusion reactor and for very little cost provide the energy for a very large city with just this one little reactor. And it's pretty much free energy. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, could that be what Kim Clement was talking about in his prophecy? We are by no means done. There's a whole lot yet to come. I think that this massive storm that with this cold freeze that we're having, I think this is another sign something's coming. God will prevail. There's all kinds of zaniness and craziness going on. And I see stuff and it makes me say, the stuff with I don't want to chase too many conspiracies, but you know what I'm talking about, the masks. Just things just don't look right. People just don't look right. What's going on? Why hasn't Joe Biden been on Air Force One? Why are there 30,000, 40,000 troops? I just read a thing saying they're talking about staying until December. What's going on? I don't know. March 4th, I don't know. Why is Trump's hotel on March 4th more expensive than all the rest? I don't know. What's happening in the background? I don't know. Is the military going to step in? I don't know. But I expect to see this next week, 2 weeks, a whole bunch of stuff come unraveling for the cabal, for the deep state. And I mean the Republicans and the Democrats. People are getting sick and tired. Republican parties, statewide Republican parties, are censuring uh, their federal level politicians, their senators and their congressmen, for not supporting what the people want. That's happening all over. It happened in Louisiana. It happened in Wyoming. It happened all over. It was like seven or eight of them got censored by their statewide level. We have a recall going on in California right now. Devin Nunes is about done. My sister's like, yes. She lives out there. Can't stand the guy. We have Governor Cuomo is about to implode because a leaker came out and pointed out that it was him who forced all of these convalescing COVID patients in a nursing home, causing 15,000 nursing home patients to die. People's family members died because of a decision that man made. And his little pompous butt is on TV last night going, well, it's all because of the rules and because it's not me. I didn't do it. It's the administration. It was the feds. It was my departments. It was somebody else, but it wasn't me. And it's about to implode on him. I don't know what's coming. I don't know. We got a bunch of lawsuits that are supposed to hit the Supreme Court like the next few days. I mean, what happens if the Supreme Court rules in favor of Georgia and Arizona and Pennsylvania and says, oh, yeah, you're right. Trump did win those. Then what do we do? I don't know, gentlemen, ladies, patriots. I don't know. But it's definitely like a movie playing out, isn't it? Let's see what today brings. I hope the big ball of fire in the sky warms up a little bit. I'm tired of the cold already. It's not, we get cold in central Missouri. We get cold, like it gets down to, -2, -3 for a day in the middle of the night when the wind's blowing after a storm blows through. And then it warms back up and everything's cool. We don't go like for weeks at a time like this. This isn't working. We need to fix this. I say everybody goes out right now and starts their SUVs and leaves them running with the doors open. That's what I say. Anyway, let's get some global warming going on. You guys have a great day. I'm going to jump off here. I apologize about not being on yesterday. Hey, please share this video. I didn't say that when I got on. I should have. The only Facebook squashed me, YouTube squashed me. The other day I did that video where I played that gut-wrenching gal talking about the insulin going up. Remember that? YouTube's already took that one down and said that it was spam. So if you don't share my videos, go over to Rumble. That one's still on Rumble. Share that one. Share that one. They're going around right now. I've just read an article before I came live that they're fact-checking that video, and they're saying that Joe Biden actually didn't raise the price. It was actually Trump that raised the price because Trump's policy was making it so that it became more scarce, and that's why the price went up, and that Joe Biden's deal doesn't really take effect for another month or so, and that's just kind of the way it works, and it's really Trump's fault that the price is going up, not Joe Biden's. Not Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't do it. Trump did it. That's basically what the fact check says. No evidence whatsoever. Just, the fact checker said it, so it has to be true. So go on over to Rumble. That one's still up over there. Watch it, like it, and share it. Please share this video. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, etc., etc. You know what I mean. And there's my YouTube account. There's my Rumble account. Parler's back up. I haven't gone over there and played yet, but it's back up. Yay. So I'm over there. There's my MeWe. And let's see here. We got what's this one? This is Gab, my Gab account. And this is my Telegraph account. I really haven't done much with those. I'm on there paying attention, but I haven't done much with them. But there I'm at. So you guys have a great day. And if they ever kick me off of YouTube and Facebook, which they probably will eventually, I'll be over on one of them other channels. And I'm working on trying to figure out how to do lives on Gab. I guess they have a TV deal. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. So I might go like 3-way. We'll figure it out. You guys have a good one. Talk to y'all later.